Welcome, viewers. This is the second segment of this program, Facing the Brutal Facts. And I've been discussing with Isioma Olele concerning discovering your life purpose, and we also have given you some steps that you can use, kind of strategies or what I call system that can help you, the 3D, discover, develop, and deploy. And in her book, she has also highlighted some important facts, important points that can help you also to achieve your aim, your dreams, and your visions. And one of it is developing an intimacy with God. Developing an intimacy with God. If you want to succeed in life as a businessman, if you want to succeed in life as a student, especially the youth, because this message is out there for the youth, we are here to empower you to fulfill your life purpose so that you cannot waste your life right now that you still have life in you. If you want to do that, learn how to develop an intimacy, real relationship, father-son relationship with God the Almighty. And when you do that, like I said earlier, heaven is not only your goal, but the whole world will come serving you. Now, Isioma, I heard that you have a program called Skill Acquisition Program. What is that skill acquisition program?
Okay, so my vision is actually to enable individuals to fulfill their God given mandate through skill acquisition and rehabilitation services. I am an occupational therapist by profession, and occupational therapy is using the word occupation, which means anything that's meaningful and purposeful to any individual to help people become independent in those areas. So, the skill acquisition program comes from helping people after discovering your potential. What next? So, which could be going. People could be going through different situations. Could be lack of direction. Could be not having the right skills and not having the right education, or not even being in the right environment to empower somebody to fulfill the God-given potential. That's where I come in. I come in by helping people, mentoring them into, first of all, discovering the potential, discovering your purpose. And obviously, it's not for me to do it for the person, but for the person to actively seek out ways through different programs to discover it. And then after you've discovered it, or you think you know what you wanted to become, then I can direct you into building skills, directing people into finding those skills and finding things that are out there that can actually help the person um, become the person that they were meant to be, through finding different avenues from them to do that. One of it is education. I'm very passionate about education. There's a saying that my dad always hammered all the time growing up. He said, if you think education is expensive, try living without it. Mm-hmm. Education is one of the most powerful things. You don't get education to get a job.
Right.
You get education to understand life's principles better, to
Right.
understand how to go about life. Education gives you understanding. There's a verse in the Bible that I remember all the time. It says that through knowledge a house is built, and by understanding is filled with precious things. That's what education does for you. Education helps you fill your house, fill your mind with precious things.
Okay.
It empowers your mind. It opens up your mind even to seeing things the way you normally would never have been able to see them.
Right. Education is very, very important. Education will give you enlightenment. Education will push you further
Yes.
to break the walls of illiteracy. Education will position you in its in on that how do I'm trying to say something here. Education will bring you in the group of people who have actually done something credible in this
Yes.
world.
Like-minded.
Like-minded people, not just like-minded people, but I'm talking about people who have seen life, you know, people who rule, let me say, people who rule the world, they look for enlightenment.
Yes.
And so when you get educated, these people come looking for you,
Yes.
and they position you there. If you want business, whatever you want in life, that opens a door for you to walk through.
Yes.
And that is what is important. You cannot do without education. You see me bending my head? I'm telling you the truth. You cannot do without education. You young man, young woman who thinks that you can go all the way playing your life, you don't want to go to school, this is the time you need to do that. Take advantage of it.
Adding on to what Pastor Jonathan said about education, is your mind is actually the birthplace of every great vision. Education empowers your mind. Education actually makes you see things on a completely different perspective. Education also helps, elevate your socioeconomic status. With education, you're able to attain things that normally you wouldn't have been able to attain, because one, you now have the understanding, and then two, you're able to actually go for things that normally, without the education to do it, you really cannot do the work. So education is very important, and especially when you're young. When you're young, your neurons, your brain cells are firing a lot quicker than when you're older. So yes, as a youth, this is the time to do it.
That's right.
This is the time to do it.
That's
Yes.
right. This is the time to do it.
Yes.
Take advantage of it. Can we pause a little bit? We have someone who has been itching to, talk with us. Let me see if I still have his number. Let's see if we can get him to call in. Hello, Pop.
Hey.
This is Jonathan.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great, great.
Yeah, are you ready for us? Do you want to talk?
Sure.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about your book one more time?
Yes, the name of it is called Planting Seeds for the Lost and Found.
Okay.
And it's a book of, it took 13 years for me to work on this book. It's a combination and happy marriage of 3 different ways in which people are being ministered to through pictures, poetry, and scriptures. So it's a very unique book, something that people haven't seen before. It's getting the gospel of Christ out in a whole different way.
Okay, do you have a particular audience for your book? Is it for everybody or is it for specifically for the youth?
It's for everybody, which is why it's called Planting Seeds for the Lost and Found, for those who are saved and those who aren't saved. The book is going to target the believer to spiritually edify and build up the church. And for the unbeliever, it's going to draw them and bring them into Christ. It even has a prayer of salvation, and so forth, even at the end, as the whole book is going to minister to them. But the main audience, of course, is going to most likely target a lot of the Christians, a lot of people in church.
All right. Second question to you. I was told that you are a youth pastor. Is that right?
Well, I'm an evangelistic poet. I minister the gospel through poetry, and some may consider me a youth pastor. I pretty much graduated from Faith Institute Bible School from my church and everything. So I don't put titles on anything, but I do minister God's word. Yes.
Okay. What are your challenges in life?
Can you repeat that?
What are your challenges in life?
Oh, my challenges in life are, of course, we all deal with spiritual warfare in some kind of way or another. And, mine, I would definitely say I'm a single parent of 2 daughters. So that is a challenge within itself. And, also just trying to make sure that I'm on time with everything because you just have to really. You have on many hats. You got to learn how to juggle many things all at once, and so forth, and be a good steward over it. God, has entrusted, me with a lot of different things to do.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us today?
I guess I would ask just, I guess, do you guys are you guys going to do like a satellite worldwide?
Yes.
Pretty soon?
Yeah, pretty soon. We'll do that.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Okay.
That is going to be great.
Okay. All right. One last thing before you leave. Would you like to appear in our studio for kind of interview?
I'm sorry, say that again, man.
Would you like to appear? Would you like to come into our studio for interaction?
Sure, I would love to. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will get in touch with you. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
All right, God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bless you. All right, did you pick anything from what he said?
Yes.
Okay.
He said three things, actually. He said that he ministers through pictures, scriptures, and words. I thought that was very powerful.
Okay.
That's one thing that I actually, throughout my book, I really emphasized on pictures. Seeing a vision. Pictures is something that once you build pictures in your mind, it actually helps you. It's one of the reasons why you should keep going.
Right.
One of the things that God did to Abraham was God told Abraham, look up and see. He told him, look at the stars. And he gave him pictures to look at. So every time Abraham went outside and he saw stars, what did he think of? The kids that he was going to have.
That's
even
right.
when he had no children. So he said God ministers through pictures, through words, through scriptures. I totally agree with that.
Okay.
I like what he's doing. I think is a great way to minister to the youths because these days the youth says, watching television, we watch television, we Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Oh, Instagram, really, Instagram. I'm emphasizing Instagram.
Right.
That's the youth forum these days.
That's right.
And you can minister through lots of pictures through Instagram. There's so many ways to minister the gospel these days. It's not going from door to door like the disciples did back in the day. Now it's actually from the comfort of your own house. So there's no reason why we shouldn't do it because I like what he's doing. Pictures, scriptures, and words. So I like his whole concept, and I really emphasize that too in my writing.
Okay, that's good. That's good. God is an awesome God because he created us all individual differently.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
We have different ways of doing things. Some are visual.
Yes.
When they see the pictures, they're able to begin to think about their life and where they want to be. And some are developed to reading.
Yes.
And when they read something, they are captivated.
Yes.
So you discover who you are. Know which area you belong. Are you a visual person? Are you somebody who read? Do you watch movies a lot? I will encourage you to limit the time you watch videos, limit the time you watch TVs, limit the time you go to movie theaters, limit the time you do things that not bringing value, not adding value to your life. Discover who you are, and God's support will push you forward and help you to accomplish that goal. Now let's come back again to you.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about you as an individual.
Okay.
Number one, 3 things I want you to talk about. Tell us yourself as a child, yourself as a youth or teenager stroke youth, and yourself as an adult.
Okay.
These 3 things. Can you,
Awesome.
Yeah.
I would say one thing about myself is I am one of 4 children. I have three other siblings. We're four. I have my father and my mother, and we're very close. I would say one thing: the relationship I have with my family has been very instrumental with me being who I am today.
Okay.
My father and my mother, they really emphasize a lot of discipline.
Okay.
Discipline and doing what you need to do without excuses.
Okay.
My siblings, we have a community kind of relationship at home where we foster helping each other and really caring for each other to the best of our ability. That's the home that I grew up in. My siblings and my parents are very supportive of me. They are always there behind me and in front of me, pushing me and nudging me, and usually when I have things to talk about, I call them first to tell them before I tell other people.
Okay.
As a child, I would say one thing: I was told that I asked a lot of questions as a kid growing up. I would walk around singing and dancing and asking questions.
That's right.
That's one thing I did a lot as a kid. As an adult, as a young adult, I would say I became a little bit not as outgoing, but I think I took a more I took a not as outgoing role, but I probably was in the middle. I was pretty much the 50-50 introvert, 50-50 extrovert. I was right in the middle of being an extrovert and introvert, because that's a very formative stage in my life. And for me, it was a season when I really had to focus on school.
Okay.
I focused on my education. That's why it helped me get a master's degree at the age of 25, because I studied, and that's all. I had friends. I socialized with friends, but I realized I needed to go and do the things that were important to me.
Wow.
Also, I would say that it's really groomed me. I have a wonderful, supportive community of awesome friends. They are there for you. There's something that I think about: if you want friends, be friendly.
Okay.
So I would say that also really helped me when I go into a place where I don't know anyone.
Okay.
I come out like knowing everyone, and I really genuinely seek the best interest of everyone at heart. I really want to empower people through little things. I mean, one of the things I have to catch myself is on my time. Hey, I know this person needs this, but I need to do this. So that's some of the conflicts that I face sometimes. Now, coming into being a young adult, I would say one thing. I would say all my experiences have formed me. And I believe that my relationship with God has been very instrumental in my life. It's really formed the person that I am today. And it's taken me where I need to go. It's really helping me become the person that God has called me to be. I believe there's a lot more to my life, and I believe that as I keep walking with God, it's going to unfold as it goes along. So I normally am a very joyful person. I like to have a good time, as well as, do the things that are important. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Maintaining a good relationship with God is very, very important. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your school? You said you got your master's at the age of 25.
Yes.
Do you have any future plan to advance into your career?
Definitely. Okay. I am pursuing, in the works of pursuing a doctoral degree in occupational therapy. I would say this: I like to improve myself consistently. So if you come into my room, you're going to see a big bookshelf of books. I love to read.
All right.
I read I try to do a book a month. Sometimes I don't always do it, but I challenge myself to read about business, to read about technology, to read about sciences, to read about God's creation. I'm constantly finding ways to improve myself, even beyond my qualification, because I believe that the more you know about life, the better decisions you would make.
That's right.
The more impact you would have in your generation if you know a lot about different areas of life. My one thing that really drives me is Isaiah 2 verse 2. It says that in the last days that the Lord's house will be positioned at the top of the mountain, and all the nations will run to it. So which means that as children of God, as Christians, God is going to use us in the last days to be positioned at the top of the mountain.
Right.
There's a book that speaks about that. The book is, I don't remember the title offhand, but the book talks clearly about people being Seven Mountains of Prophecy.
Yeah,
It's
Seven
the
Mountains
book,
of
yes.
Prophecy. That's
That's the
right.
book I was thinking about. And he talks about, the children of God being positioned at the top of the mountain. Now, God is not going to come down to earth to do what he expects his children to do, which means that you and I, the believers, the Christians, the youths, the old people, the children, are going to be put at positions where you are going to be God's voice. And the more you know about life, the more you know about things that are happening, the more impact you would have in your generation. So that's my driving force. That's the one thing that drives me to consistently seek ways to improve myself.
Okay. She mentioned something I really, really want to emphasize here. The seven mountains of prophecy. These seven mountains of prophecy is a book I have also read. Yeah, it has so much to offer. It has so much to offer regarding you fulfilling what God has called you to do. You know, God is about to launch an army, an end time army for end time revolution. Quote me in this: revolution is not carrying guns, it's not carrying weapons, but it's a revolution of the word. People that will, they have this heart of going out to reach others who don't know God. They have the heart, tremendous heart of doing something for the kingdom of God. That's what I mean by revolution. It's a kind of trailing the Elijah's footstep. They are going to be branded by fire, firing up the word every corner. You find them every corner. They step every corner. They walk into. They are going to project the kingdom of God into that arena. You could be one of them. And that's why we're bringing these messages across to you. Because if you position yourself, God will take you and make you an instrument, not just an instrument, but he'll make you a carrier of the kingdom. And when you carry the kingdom, wherever you step, that aligns with the purpose, your map to greatness. The moment you position yourself, God makes you that carrier. You carry the kingdom. And in that kingdom, you have prosperity. Is that not right?
Yes.
In the kingdom, not just righteousness and holiness. You have everything that can make you comfortable in this life. And then God can sow you as a seed and you begin to blossom. One more thing. Are you a Christian or Muslim?
I'm very much a Christian. Very much
Okay.
a Christian. I believe in God.
What has your Christian life been like?
I would say this. I would say one thing. Just like I'm talking to you,
Right.
I talk to God like that.
Okay.
Driving in my car, I talk to him. I don't believe that Christianity is as difficult as we make it.
Okay.
Now, as living a life of righteousness is a mandate from God, and it's a gradual process. You will grow into who God wants you to be.
Good.
There's no condemnation in his kingdom. He believes that we are his children. And, of course, he obviously has standards for our actions. We have to live by his principles, which is the word of God. But, really, I believe that just like I'm talking to you, Pastor Jonathan, I can talk to God like that. I believe that prayer is the birth room of every person's destiny. You pray by talking to God. You pray by seeking his face. That's prayer. Without prayer, forget living a life of purpose. It's not going to be possible because prayer positions you for where God is taking you. So I would say as a Christian, I would say two things. My relationship with God is the most important thing.
Okay.
As a Christian, it's not about the church that I attend, but it's about having a relationship with God. It's about knowing who God is and who he is to me and what he wants me to do on earth, as well as, showcasing that God is great.
Good. Good. Thank you so much. You see, one thing keeps occurring in this discussion, and that is having a relationship with God.
Yes,
Knowing God is very, very important. Knowing God is the key
I agree with that.
in whatever we do in life. Knowing God is very, very, it's necessary, absolutely necessary. Because without God, you might not go too far. Yeah, you might succeed, but to some extent. So it's important that you know who God is.
Yes.
You young ones out there, we are encouraging you. Please come back to God. Discover your root. The moment you discover your root and take it from there, life will become awesome to you. One final thing I want us to talk about before we leave, and that is, how do you declare the end from the beginning?
Awesome.
Now we are talking like God, isn't it?
Yeah. Awesome. So the Bible does say that, he declares the end from the beginning. One of the things about us is that our life has been already predestined.
Right.
Going back to Ephesians 2:10, it says we are his workmanship, created in him to do the good works which he had already predestined for us. The path that God has prepared for us is the path to lead you from the beginning, from the end to the beginning, and from the beginning to the end. That's the only way to get there. It's like, that's one of the reasons why I used a compass as the focus for finding your purpose. I talked a lot about the compass. In fact, every chapter in the book speaks about a compass. I'm going to go through the chapters. It says the first one is finding your location. The second one is focusing the arrows of the compass. The third one is zooming in on the location. The fourth one is moving towards the location. The fifth question is, am I at the right location? 6 is arriving at the location of greatness. 7 is, how can I build great structures on my land? 8 is, why must I become great? 9 is wealth, purpose, and greatness. And 10 is map trail to greatness. I really focused a lot on the compass because I realized that the compass, serves as a direction tool that leads you that shows you where you should be going. One thing about the compass, it has the north, the south, the east, and the west. And the way to discover the beginning of a journey, starting out from the end, is by using your purpose as a guide. Without your purpose, you would never get to the actual beginning of the life that God has prepared for you, because we're going from the end, which is already be predestined, back to the beginning. So the compass actually, which is your purpose,
That's right.
helps you go back to the beginning, which was already predestined and written about you, because God already knew what he wanted you to become. That's why he put you in this season and in this time. And going back to Joel 2:2, it talks about the great army, which, Pastor Jonathan talked about earlier. I wrote a poem about it in the prefix of the book. It talked about how everyone is standing in his own rank, and each person has an assignment that you're supposed to fulfill. It's like a puzzle. You have pieces of the puzzles. One of the things that happens is if you miss a piece of the puzzle, that puzzle would never be complete. And people might not fully understand what that puzzle is. But where it comes in is if someone refuses to fulfill their purpose, God will bring somebody else to do it.
That's right.
That's the one thing. So it really, if you don't discover your purpose, it's actually it's to your disadvantage.
That's right.
You would never have a full life. You'll be frustrated. You're going to leave. You're going to know that there is so much on the inside of you. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wrote this book. Because going through life, even before I discovered my purpose, I was just going through life because I was motivated by, I want to get a degree because it's going to give me a comfortable lifestyle. I thank God I never went down that path, because looking back, if I did go down that path, I would be so frustrated today. Because after you do get what you're looking for, then you begin to ask yourself, what next?
What next?
What next? And I work with a lot of homeless guys, people with drug addictions, and you will see that the underlying deficits many times for a lot of people finding themselves in a situation is made 2 or 3 bad decisions, or looking for meaning in life. That's what leads people into drug addictions many times. It's, I want to try this because it helps me see beyond what I'm seeing right now. And one of the things that, you would identify after you discover your purpose is like your life will have meaning. You will have so much meaning in life. You will wake up every day with a sense of, I have this to do, I have that to do. And trust, when you're working your purpose, you don't have time to look for drugs. You don't have time to keep, first of all, you don't even have time to keep relationships and associations that are not going to take you where you need to go. You would focus on the people who are going to go with you. I look at all the time of the life of Samson. Samson God had a great vision for Samson's life.
Right.
But guess what?
He messed it up.
Found the wrong people.
Okay.
And guess what? He went from living the purpose that God has called him, and now he had a new purpose, which was to please the woman that was brought into his life, and that ultimately killed him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you really want to see where you're going, your association is really going to matter in knowing where you're going. If you keep hanging around, if you're a lion and you hang around goats all the time, you'll stop behaving like a goat.
All right. Thank you so much,
No
Isioma.
Yes.
Do you have any word for the youth out there? And just tell them something
Okay.
that will keep motivating them to continue.
Okay. I would say this to the youths. Your life is precious to God. You are positioned for impact. You are not meant to live a normal lifestyle where all you do is go to work, go home, waste your time, and don't waste your life. There is actually something in you that God is waiting for. There is something in you that this generation is waiting for. Until you discover it, until you begin to put it to work, there are people's life that is going to remain in bondage. You would remain in bondage too, because on the inside of you, you would never be satisfied. So get to working. Start working. Stop wasting your time. There is so much more out there for you. And God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you so much for coming. Viewers, you have heard it all. And I want to add this. If you want to make your life better, plan. Plan your life properly. Propose your life. And when you do that, prosperity will come. Don't pursue prosperity before you propose your life. God has set a map for you. He has given you a footstep to follow. Somebody like Isioma is a footstep you can follow. She's still a youth, not married, not children, no nothing, by herself, but she discovered herself and she's walking by it. So you can discover yourself today, but make sure you plan. Make sure you propose your life properly, and then God will not leave you without prospering your life. And with this, I said, position yourself for impact. Thank you, viewers, for viewing. Until next time, we say bye.